And we are joined by the Honorable DC from Kwanta North, the Honorable Jakayi Jackson. Honorable, good morning, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. How about you, sir?
By God's grace, we're doing well.
All right, so the situation with your people in Kwanta North, the Sibi for that matter, has it come to your attention?
Oh, I am a native of Sibi. I grew up in school at Sibi, so Sibi is my hometown. So it is not what do you call it, news to me. I'm aware exactly what is happening.
So what is happening
Sibi,
for the benefit of my listeners?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm asking that what is happening for the benefit of my listeners and my viewers?
Sibi, the major challenge we have at Sibi now is water issue. We have water crisis there. And this water problem has been existing for several years now. Seriously speaking, the biggest problem we have at Sibi is the water. The land, in fact, a lot of boreholes have been drilled. But the water, the water table says that it's always, when the water is yielded, just for some short period, the boreholes be dried. Yes, it is since former President Rawlings' the late Rawlings' throughout to the current government. So it's a big issue. So the only intervention was that we had this system, Damanko Pasa water system, that was constructed years back to serve the communities along the area to Pasa. And this was doing very well. But the unfortunate thing was that when the construction was being done, the kind of material that were used, the pipelines that were laid were inferior ones. So there has been a lot of frequent bursts. Anytime there's a burst, there's a problem. It will take time for them to refix them. This time around, the CWSA, Community Water and Sanitation Agency, have taken oversight responsibility of that ownership of the facility. And so it was working well somewhere last year. Then beginning before the end of last year, getting to the latter part of last year, there were a lot of other challenges, bursting of pipes and other things. Recently, just the beginning of this year, we received a complaint that 4 of their pumps that are pumping the water through the pipelines got damaged. And they ordered for them from abroad. They haven't brought them yet. Then what brought the comments back was that a transformer that was supplying them with electricity also got bent. So from January, February, March up to this time, the water is always not frequently flowing. But so and CB, which is the only place where we have this water problem, which is the boreholes are not functioning. Definitely, there will be hard hits. There have been hard hits because of this. So Assembly have taken it upon ourselves, and we rehabilitated some broken old boreholes. Apart from that, we drilled a lot of boreholes and mechanized them. As we speak, it's only one. It's only one that we're able to get some good results, and that one we mechanized it recently. We opened it to the people to use just recently. All the rest have not yielded water.
All right.
Apart from that, also we have engaged the fire service tanker to serve them with water. I know this one. How many times will this water fire service tanker can supply the whole community? It's a very large community. How many people can get access to that water? So the people themselves have taken it upon themselves to help themselves to support themselves by coming to Kwasa, the district capital, and Damanko with 4 gallons to fetch water to support themselves. So I appreciate that. I feel it, but there is nothing we can do immediately because all the interventions we have applied, available interventions available. We did them. We applied all of them, but they are not sustainable. Recently, we are in touch with a global community. They are really supportive. They help us a lot with boreholes, and this time around, we have appealed to them to help us with this small town water system, which they did one at one of the communities called Tinjasi. We are advocating that one should be done at Sibi. I know it is not going to be very immediate. So I know this year, their people have, it has affected their work as predominantly they are farmers.
All right.
School children have been highly affected.
Chief.
Teachers and school children, yes.
Yes, for how long have you been the DCE for the area, sir?
This is the 4th year. The 4th year. This problem has been there for the past, former President Kufuor time throughout to this place, to this time.
All right.
All other MNDCs who have been in office have done their part. I came and inherited it. So that is it. Really, we have to definitely put our house together and make sure that this community.
So it's interesting that you made the point that you are an indigene of Sibi itself, and so you would have known about the problem for a long time. So
these are the problems I'm narrating to you.
Yes,
the major problem is that the land has no water. You can read 1,000 boreholes, you won't get the water as you require. So what do? We need a very big system, and thank God we have this water system from Damanko to Pasai. That was the only reliable water system we had. That was supplying the whole environment, communities that along the road. But that water system too, anything mechanical is not reliable. Anytime they put in some, fix some machines, some parts, before you realize it is broken down. So they are those who are putting the pressure on to make sure they bring those pumps immediately to fix. We see that the water can be.
Honorable, I know you would have Ghana Water Company Limited there. I know you'd have other institutions that are into, this water production also there. What solutions for the past 4 years, as you've already indicated, that borehole is not an option? What solutions?
I think after my conversation with you, you talked with the community water CWSA and hear the upside of the story. They were 100% assured. We had that assurance that we thought the problem will not, resurface this year. But as I said already, unfortunately, because anything mechanical is not reliable, this problem resurfaced again.
What do you mean when you say anything mechanical is not reliable? Because I think a mechanical thing only requires servicing and it will be reliable.
Yes, servicing. They are doing a lot of servicing. I can testify to the fact that even my regional minister, the former regional minister, were there and we saw things for ourselves. They did a lot of good job. That's why I'm saying anything mechanical is not. Because what we saw at the latter end of last year, we didn't anticipate that this problem would come again. But it has come. So why wouldn't I say that? You understand? So that is it. Okay, I believe going forward this year, the problem is already, thank God, very soon the rainy season will be coming soon, but the people have already suffered it. So I believe I am almost ending my tenure. Maybe all the interventions and engagement I've done already, we will all collaborate because I'm an indigene of the place and make sure that this problem doesn't come next year, at least. Yes, with the help of global community, I'm very sure they will be able to solve this problem. And next year, it will be a thing of the past. That one I can assure you.
You just mentioned the fact that you are waiting for the rains and that would solve the problem. But you are telling me that you can assure me that next year would not witness this again. What have you put in place to be the foundation upon which you are giving me this assurance when the problem is pertaining even today?
I am telling you, I'm having a lot of engagements, like you mentioned, Ghana Water Company, and this time around, we have OT region, we have a region of our own, we are now on our own. CWSA, which is the headquarters, used to be in it's in the former the Volta region. We now have our region and our regional minister. We are in discussion with a lot of people, NGOs, and I believe putting all of this together, we will be able to solve the problem. This is what I'm going to attest to.
So at the time you became DC, the first year, already knowing the problem, that the solution was not borehole, what did you do?
Come again.
I'm saying, when you appointed the district chief executive for Nkwanta North, you already knew that the solution to the problem was not in boreholes because of the topography of the land.
Yes.
So I'm saying that, what have you put in place the past 4 years that you've been DC?
What really motivated me to rely on was that since the thing is, boreholes are not very sustainable. All the damaged things that the water system was facing, I was able to engage the ownership, the leadership, and then they came together and fixed almost all the the powerhouse, the broken things that were not there. Everything was fixed, and if it was, we had an engagement, and then the public, a community debate, and everything was shown to us. So when the team was working, in fact, nobody anticipated that. So with that intervention, I believe I had the full assurance that the water was going to be sustainable. You understand? So that was where our hope was. And apart from that, we did a lot of, I made sure with the Assembly's Common Fund, we were able to drill a lot of other boreholes at different locations. apart from this, even the MP of the area also did some drillings, and all these things are not helping. So it isn't as if we have closed our eyes over this. We've done a lot of drillings, mechanized some of the boreholes, but the water is nothing to write home about. So getting to the time it gets to the dry season, then this problem becomes very paramount.
Have you made any effort at lobbying for any of these international organizations to help set up a comprehensive water supply system in your area?
Seriously speaking, we the only NGO that we have been working collaboratively is this global community, and as we speak, they are expanding their activities. So that's what I'm saying, that going forward, their intervention is going to help us solve this problem for the people of Sibi. With the exception of, because all our hope within my tenure was just on this, which I made sure everything that they need to put in place was put in place. And so I didn't anticipate that this problem would be there this year. So I believe that you have to get their contact and talk to them, and let's see. Tell them, they will tell you what the effort they have also done, and then maybe the problem has come again. So we are not resting. We are putting things together to make sure that this problem will be solved at least once and for all. If not,
are there water reservoir systems in place in the area?
But we don't have those systems in our area. But I think that's another intervention that we can put in place.
And the past 4 years, this has not crossed your minds as administrators of the area that you need to have a reservoir
you do
system
things when you have money.
Instance,
when you have money, you have enough money, you can expand your tentacles. But with your limited resources, look at assembly with all the challenges we are facing. So you try to solve immediate problems before you think of those that are big ones, that will have a lasting solution. So these are all good lessons. And I'd say, as we speak this year, we are doing a lot to make sure that we tackle the issue once and for all.
The water distribution system you talk about, that you say you've maintained, what's its capacity?
Oh, it's a very huge facility, a very, very huge facility. And as I tell you already, the foundation, the beginning, those who did the installation, the pipeline that were laid, those are the lines. And even at the powerhouse, some of the things that were fixed there were just not quality. Yes. So I believe I will let you have the contact of the management, the leadership there. Then maybe you can also interview them and see. So that the people appreciate that we really are not sleeping. We are doing a lot. Except that, as I told you already, mechanical things are not 100% reliable. So we have to make sure we tackle them holistically.
Mr. Jackson, we're grateful you made time to speak to us today, sir.
I'm grateful to you too. Thanks so much.
Mr. Jakayi Jackson is the DCE for Nkwanta North.